Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York, for Flex Fight Series 13, the battle for Rick City and Farrell-Francis. Here comes Drew Park. He's going to introduce us to Francis.
Making his way inside the cage, Dejan Farrell-Francis.
Dejan Farrell-Francis, another fighter out of Carnicella MMA. Looks like we've made Paul Carnicella's job pretty easy tonight. He's in the corner for 3 straight fights.
Now, Dejan, his last MMA fight was back in 2017, but he's been doing some Muay Thai and kickboxing work of late. He recently defeated a teammate of mine in a kickboxing fight a few weeks ago. Not that I'm going to hold that against him. BJJ blue belt, karate, kickboxing, and boxing experience.
He took his time to get back into the cage. He worked on his game, came back with a fury, obviously won his last kickboxing bout, returning to the cage at Flex Fight Series.
And just to make a correction quickly, Dejan Farrell-Francis is fighting out of Ramirez Boys Fight House. Actually, we see Jennifer Lubick here, who fought earlier tonight. She's going to be in his corner, and you can speak to the camaraderie in that gym just by that fact.
Exactly. You know they come from historic New Egypt, New Jersey. They fed the horse this morning, and they are here to kick some butt today.
BJJ blue belt, karate, kickboxing, and boxing is very well rounded. Again, his last fight in 2017, that's a long layoff, a long time to rework all the kinks. He is back with a fury, and after winning his last kickboxing bout, he is in the Flex Fight Series, ready to win his second bout in a row.
We're looking to see him put that striking on display. Am I the only one who's blown away by the size of Dejan? How big is this dude for 185 pounds?
These guys are middleweights. They look like heavyweights.
I know. I'm 185, and he looks like he's 50% bigger than me.
This guy's arms the size of my body. I'm a little guy.
Back into Drew Park.
Making his way inside the cage, Jake Marino.
Now making his way over to the red corner is Jake Marino, fighting out of No Limits Kickboxing. He's undefeated as a mixed martial artist at 1-0, looking to improve to 2-0 tonight.
What I know that Jake making the return to the cage after a fairly long layoff, not fighting since 2016, been training for 7 years. He's a BJJ purple belt with 7 years of wrestling, yet considers himself a striker.
And he's got an excellent striking coach in his corner. You see Rick Schaefer on camera now. Getting some final preparations here for Marino.
BJJ purple belt, wrestled for 7 years. I mean, I wrestled since I was 7 years old. Wrestling is an incredible base to have, and you saw it in the previous fights. Every wrestler in the sport, in the history of the sport, has been successful. Wrestling is a great base. He has 7 years on it.
So some experience on both sides of this matchup. 1-0 for Marino, 1-2 for Dejan Farrell-Francis. And you know, it's always an interesting thing when you have two guys who have been in there before. You don't get a mutual debut. You get guys who have the experience. They have some more confidence behind them, knowing that they've been there before, that they've accomplished some of the goals that they set out to accomplish in mixed martial arts.
And we look at the tail of the tape brought to you by Shirley. These guys are dead even. Dejan Francis has a little bit of a height advantage. He's able to use that reach advantage against Jake Marino. Both these guys clocked in at 185.
Let's get this party started. Back into the cage to Drew Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout takes place in the men's middleweight MMA division, sponsored by Shirley Feed. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This warrior stands at 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in 185 pounds. Fighting out of New Egypt, New Jersey, representing Ramirez Boys Fight House. Help me welcome Dejan Farrell-Francis. Introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This warrior stands at 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in 185 pounds. Fighting out of Middle Island, Strong Island, New York, representing No Limits Kickboxing. Help me welcome Jake Marino. And when the action begins, your referee for this contest, Chris Molina.
Chris Molina is back on duty for this middleweight MMA feature, brought to you by our friends at Shirley Feed. Jake Marino is in the red tape. Dejan Farrell-Francis is in the blue. Chris Molina is ready, and we are underway with the first round of action at middleweight.
That's gloves, and here we go.
In a rare change of events, Chris Molina not the most jacked guy in the cage.
Very rare instance that happens.
Well said, sir. Nice low kick from Dejan.
You see that kickboxing experience already on display. See the fluidity of the hands, the looseness of those motions.
Another low kick. And he doesn't stay in one place. He always changes directions. Great double leg takedown. Wrestling on display from Jake Marino.
Beautiful job.
We mentioned Marino's wrestling credits ahead of this fight on display here with that beautiful double leg takedown. He's got about 2.5 minutes to work from top position here.
With a ground and pound being demonstrated in Dejan's full guard.
I'll be interested to see what Dejan has off of his back. We know that he's a blue belt in BJJ. They don't give those things away. I like the overhook control that we see. He seems to be going after a triangle, Dejan, the way he's trying to push that one arm of Jake back.
And I like the top, how Jake Marino, just like a wrestler, very top heavy. And especially if you're fighting someone that's long and lengthy, you either want to be tight in or you want to be way up.
Now we see Dejan using that long torso of his to stretch out Jake. Because when you're in the guard and you're going to be looking for submissions, you want to isolate a body part. So you either need to isolate an arm or isolate a head and arm to get a triangle. And we see the way he's stretching himself out little by little, pushing some arms back there to either create the space to stand or to get himself to a triangle position.
He's got that arm hook, could be setting up a triangle choke.
Here. Jake seems savvy to it.
Minute and a half gone through the first round of action. I'm sorry, James.
No, at the very least, Dejan gave himself a momentary reprieve of the ground and pound. Just getting that knee in front was all it took to create a little shield between the punches of Jake and everything else.
Pivoting those hips, he could be setting up an armbar, correct?
I'm looking for him to go after that far leg.
Right.
Interesting to see Dejan go with the heel kicks to the hip. It's a UFC 1 kind of choice there.
And gets his back.
Beautiful scramble back and forth here.
Look at that scramble. The big boys rolling around, jockeying for position, and we end up almost right back where we started. Marino is on top and half control here.
It's always crazy when you see that much movement and you see them wind up in almost the same position.
And when you're a wrestler, you're very top heavy. I mean, you can make a middleweight feel like a super heavyweight. You can make Jake Marino is making him look like he's Bob Sapp with that much control and that much pressure being placed down on Dejan.
I'm not gonna lie, Jake Marino's upper body does look as big as Bob Sapp's upper body.
Touche, sir. Touche.
Beautiful pass by Jake.
You hear the corners yelling out 20 seconds to Jake Marino. Looking to work here, and he could have the back. Beautiful roll there, however, from Farrell-Francis.
Punches the body.
Dejan taking some chances on escape, showing back for a moment, but he seems to be content to use that roll back to get back to a guard or half guard situation.
Super relaxed as we end round number 1. What are your thoughts about round number 1?
Well, with round number 1 in the books, it looks like Jake Marino had the advantage through the first 3 minutes. He got the early takedown and was able to establish control time for most of the remainder of the round. However, I would not say that Dejan Farrell-Francis is by any means out of this fight. He was game on the bottom. He had a couple of opportunities to get out and was almost able to sweep Marino in a couple of scenarios.
Those scrambles were so impressive for such big guys. Dejan was giving his back for a moment here or there in order to create the moment of space necessary to create the scramble to get up. But Jake rode the wave and got himself right back attacked, used that big upper body of his, put his weight right back on Dejan, and slowed him down again. Dejan seems to be dangerous when he's got the ability to be explosive, when he can make those big, quick movements. Jake's doing a great job of taking that away.
And Jake Marino doing a very good job of being very, very top heavy. He was able to get that and secure that takedown, stay on top and try to control Dejan. And much props to Dejan. Dejan was still trying to set up and go for sweeps and set up submissions. Great first round.
We will see which adjustments were made in the corners following the opening 3 minutes. We are ready to go with round number 2. Marino in the red tape, Farrell-Francis in the blue.
Nice jab.
Oh, big shots there from Dejan.
And after a round of grappling in round number 1, it looks like these boys came to swing in round number 2.
Jake wisely getting his hands back on Dejan.
A beautiful double leg takedown.
All that space didn't seem to be superior for anybody. Both guys were landing. Both guys were making some real solid contact. Jake did the wise thing, knows he had a grappling advantage when he was on top. Not only is he taking his opponent down, put him right in front of his cornerman, where he's got legend of the game, David De La Rocca, right in front of him, and superstar flex fighter, Devin Worth, right there to coach him through what's going on.
Jake Marino with such a prestigious background in wrestling, and he's a BJJ purple belt. Everything is a smokescreen to set up a takedown. Everything's a smokescreen, a jab, a punch. Everything's to get into range, to secure those legs, to get in tight, to get those takedowns and secure that takedown. And Jake Moreno has been successful every single time.
How can you not be good at grappling with Dave De La Rocca coaching you through it?
Absolutely.
And training partners like Devin Worth. These guys are only a weight class apart. You have to imagine they're doing rounds in the gym together, and that high-level experience is translating here into competition.
Rolls right into Dejan's full guard.
Again, Dejan creating a little bit of scramble in an attempt to get himself some space, and Jake rode the wave. Right, that explosive wave, finds himself right back settling in on top.
Dejan's giving me Hoist Gracie flashbacks. The way he uses that heel to dig and still strike and still stay active.
Exactly. You're not going to finish somebody with, but it's annoying enough to get you to want to move.
Absolutely.
Just over a minute remaining in the second round of action. Marino still on top, very much a similar fashion to how he spent the first round.
I'd like to see Dejan start creating some angles. I like how he's putting the foot in the hip. That tells you he's starting to try to go to one side or the other. The worst place to be in the guard is directly flat on your back, right underneath your opponent. So if he can make some angles, turn his hips a little bit, then he gets dangerous.
Trying to pivot his hips, maybe setting up an arm bar.
Exactly, an arm bar, a sweep, a Kimura, just something. Give Jake something to think about other than just sitting here and punching him in the body.
Going for a sweep.
Attacking the leg momentarily there was Farrell-Francis. However, Marino is able to settle back into his guard.
Jake doing the wise thing. Every time there's big motion from Dejan, puts his weight right back on him, stuffs that big motion, and gets right back to smashing that body up.
While Dejan is trying to control those arms, control those wrists, trying to set up something on the ground.
20 seconds remaining in the second round of action. Marino has been dominant so far, controlling the position on the ground. Lands a leg kick there.
Ooh, those are some big old kicks.
They're back on their feet. They're winging bombs right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounded like somebody was hitting a heavy guy with a baseball bat.
Beautiful knee.
That knee hurt Jake Marino. I can't blame him. That would have hurt a small elephant.
Painful shots landed on both sides at the end of the second round, and we are heading into round number 3, perceivably with Marino ahead by 2.
Yeah.
I'm getting stomach cramps just from those knees, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that one knee, that hit so hard, and you saw Jake's body just react very quickly. You see Dejan taking a big look over at him across the cage, kind of staring him down like, yep, I hurt you to the body there. The thing about getting hurt to the body is you hit someone to the head, you give them a minute to recover, they might be back to normal. You hit them to the body, they stay hit.
Small successes could be leading up a big dramatic finish in the third round. As we showed, I mean, remember the first fight.
Anything can happen. This has been the night of don't blink.
Don't blink.
And do you think that could be a point of emphasis coming out of the corner of Dejan Farrell-Francis and Ramirez Boys Fight House, that he's been having success to the body, and in order to get out from the bottom, it could serve him to beat up Marino's gas tank a bit?
I certainly think so. He was having some success when they were on their feet exchanging strikes. If I were in his corner, I'd want him to be moving circularly, finding his angles, letting those hands go, and yeah, going back to that body. Make Jake a little intimidated across that clinch barrier.
Third and final round of action underway at middleweight. Marino in the red, Farrell-Francis in the blue.
Great head movement from Jake.
Wing those punches.
It looks like a couple of them might have gotten home for Farrell-Francis, but he is throwing wild at the moment.
Yeah, Dejan swinging big, but Jake doing a great job of moving his head.
Beautiful double leg takedown.
It's funny, the takedown was so powerful, it almost looked like Dejan tried to jump guard right there.
That's what I had thought was happening initially, and I was confused as to why he would do that, but I guess you were right. Jake Marino's takedown was just that powerful on the double leg.
Just a nice quick suck into the hips, and that's all it takes. Kind of ragdolled his man.
DJ trying to move and get away from the cage so he has some room to work. The door is open. He could pass if he wants to, and he closes the door again.
But Jake seems so content on top here. His pressure is so heavy, and he's able to land these big strikes. Dejan looking for a triangle.
Trying to set up a triangle. Trying to neutralize that arm to set up possibly an arm bar or a triangle. Maybe an omoplata if he's feeling froggy.
I like the way he's going across the back Dejan is. If you look at the way he's attacking that one arm of Jake, just, again, giving Jake something to think about, and that's actually a pretty sneaky triangle setup that you can take. Going around the person's head, tying up their arm for a moment, and getting your leg around.
Jake is defending very, very well. Dejan trying to be sneaky. Should be set up a triangle choke.
back into that triangle choke attempt.
He's got halfway through the third round, a minute and a half left to work for Farrell-Francis.
Yeah. It doesn't
If
look
he
like
angles it out, it could be dangerous.
The thing is, Jake is such a thick dude that you don't need a perfect triangle to choke a guy whose torso is that big.
Yeah.
We see the desperation stuff here.
I guess toes off the cage.
Yeah.
Farrell-Francis looks like he could be transitioning into an armbar, and he lets the grip go.
Could be setting up an armbar. Oh. Jake almost strips. Nice low kick. Oh, big right lands on the chin.
And Jake right back to the clinch, immediately stifling out any reach or power advantage that Dejan may have in the striking.
Under a minute remaining in the third and final round of action at middleweight. Marino still pressing the action. He's in the clinch here looking for another double leg takedown.
Desperately fighting for that double leg takedown. Whips him up, gets the takedown.
You see the way he controlled those hips so well, again, creating that whip effect that made it almost look like Dejan was jumping.
And Farrell-Francis immediately was looking for the arm triangle again. Sorry, the triangle. Coming up on the final 20 seconds now of this middleweight fight.
Exactly. I love the pressure of Jake. He's so tight. There's nowhere for Dejan to go. It seemed like Jake learned the lesson early on that as soon as you gave Dejan space, there was going to be a scramble.
Could be going for a Chimera. Could be going for a Chimera to end this fight.
5 seconds left for Dejan Farrell-Francis trying to finish this fight and get the win.
Grabbing the thigh, defending well, and this fight goes to the decision.
So for the first time tonight, this is the sixth fight of the evening, and it is the first time that we are going to hear a decision read by Andrew Park.
What an incredible bout for both these guys. What did you think about the fight?
I was so impressed with the top pressure of Jake Marino. But what I also like to see is the fight out of Dejan. He spent some time on his back, but man, he did not stop going after submissions, using his knees as shields to stop the strikes, doing what he needed to do to still stay active off of the bottom.
Jake was dominant with his wrestling, but Dejan kept things very, very interesting. He was setting up things, trying to utilize his great gripping game, his sneaky gripping game. I mean, this fight was in the street all the way to the end. Jake might nail the decision, but Dejan very, very tough in this fight.
Yeah, he can hold his head up high after an effort like that.
Yeah.
Certainly some things happened on both sides for each of these fighters that they are going to build upon going forward. Some things to work on as well, but Jake Marino looks to have secured the decision here. He had the control time in all 3 rounds. Big takedown attempts, and again, not for lack of resistance on the other side from Dejan Farrell-Francis. There were some big shots landed when they were standing.
Well, I mean, with Dave De La Rocca in the corner, how do you go wrong?
That is a star-studded corner standing behind Jake Marino. He's got Dave De La Rocca, he's got Rick Schaefer, he's got his training partner Devin Worth. They've all helped to build him into the fantastic product that he is today. And
we can't leave out the obvious training partner of Rick Schaefer's German Shepherd.
If I'm standing across those guys, I'm rolling up in the fetal position and just tapping already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't blame you.
that's the last crew you want to run into at a bar or on a golf course. Back into Drew Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 3-minute rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard for our decision. All 3 judges scored the contest 27-30 with your winner by unanimous decision, Jake Marino.
So in fact, it is Jake Marino securing the decision. He got it 30-27 unanimously across the board. On the other side of this commercial break, we've got Kaja Maharaja and Al Pringle in a welterweight MMA feature. Don't go anywhere.